Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru.
Dandaut bandhan anak baar, sarb kala samrath, dolan tera ko Prabhu, Nanak de kar hath, dolan tera ko Prabhu, Nanak de kar hath. सारी संगत गज वज की फतेह बुलाओ जी। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। धन 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 श्री गुरु नानक देव जी साहिब सच्चे पातशाह। They're sitting in the city of Sultanpur at a place called Moti Khana. Their friend, childhood friend, is standing with them as they're working at their grocery store. And Bhai Balaji asked Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Pacha, what type of work are we doing? Why are we selling groceries? Is this the job that we are meant to do? Is this the job that Akal Purkh came into this world to do? Is this the hukum of Akal Purkh for us to do this gift, to do this job of selling grains, of weighing grains with these rocks? Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Pacha says, Sabar Rakh. Balya, the job that we are going to do, we're going to start that job very soon. But in the meantime, Basapa Tera Tera Hi Japana hai. In the time being, the only thing that we're going to recite is Tera Tera. We're going to say, this is yours, everything is yours. But the task that we are meant to start, Balya, we're going to begin that job as well. We're going to take this Tera and actually spread it all across the world. What we're speaking about today is what we call Kirt, a dharmic means of living and earning. Kirt literally means an action that you do. What type of kalana do you do on a daily basis? But you all already know this. Not just an honest living, because you could be an honest drug dealer. You could be a very honest murderer. No, but dharmic, meaning earned, means of earning is completely different. Dharmadikert is completely in accordance to Akal Purkh's hukum, within Maryada Satya Pacha. But there's two ways of looking at it. The karma that you are doing, the task that you are doing, what type of kalana are you doing? If Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Pacha, they're setting out on their task. They're spreading this message of Ik Omkar, of Kartar, all across this land that they're traveling to. People are coming up to them and they're dukhi. Sache Pacha, they get rid of their pains. Some they bless enlightenment too. Some they get rid of hypocrisy. You all know this small ityas. You've heard of it before. Of Malik Bhagwan Bhai Lala. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Pacha, they come and they arrive at this place called Ahmedabad. And when they come to Ahmedabad, they go into this house of Bhai Lala. When they sit down, Bhai Mardana Ji looks towards Guru Nanak Dev Ji, shocked. Because just a few days earlier, Guru Nanak Dev Ji had just told Bhai Mardanya, if you are a Marasi and you play these strings, you go to people's houses and you beg. You play these songs for them, and they give you money, they give you food, you survive on that. If you play the songs of love for Akal Purkh on these same strings, you put the shabad on it, then truly you will never have to ever beg again. Instead, the entire world will be coming down and kissing your feet. And Bhai Mardana Ji, they travel, they're 10 years older than Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Sache Paatshah. They travel to Ahmedabad, and the first house that they arrive in, they're shocked. When Bhai Lalo Ji goes into the kitchen to go get food, Bhai Mardana Ji asks Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Sache Paatshah, is this why we left our homes? Is this why I left my 2 children? Is this why I hurriedly got my daughter married? So that I can leave all of this and travel here. But here, Bhai Lalo doesn't even have a chadar. Ek chadar bhi nahi hai. Bhai Lalo does not even have a table for us to sit on. Does not even have food. There's nothing, you're not a blanket. What are we doing here? Did we leave all of this for this? Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, Ve Mardaniya. Ve is a very beautiful, loving word. Ve Mardaniya. Is this the way you see the world? You have not recognized that Bhai Lalo in Paramatma nu pashaniya hai. He is able to see Paramatma. He is a sacha hai. Itta nadi kirt kar raha hai. He's doing everything truthfully. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Paatshah, they eat Bhai Mardana Ji eats that food. He's never tasted food that sweet before. Whoever is making your food and the environment and where it's coming from makes a difference. If you are saying that why am I struggling in my jivan, in my spirituality, why can't I connect? Even Musa, after he slapped the Sufi, Akal Purkh spoke to him and said, why would I come and connect to you because you slapped me across the face yesterday? He's saying, no, but that was just a poor Sufi on the side. He's like, nahi, main only bitch about that. See, you slapped me across the face. If you cannot connect, watch what actions you're doing. Because there are 2 ways that we look at actions. One is within ignorance, and one is outside of ignorance. Within ignorance, when we do an action, this action that we are doing, it's within our own sririk bal. You're saying, I'm going to lift my leg and I'm going to step here. I'm going to move it back. You're awake, you're alert, and you have the ability and the decision to make the right and wrong decisions based on your own illusion of your own buddhi, of your own intellect. And then there's another way that karmas are done, actions are done, but there's no strings attached. There's no karma attached. This is the way Bhai Mardana, Bhai Balla, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Paatshah, they're doing actions as well. This is the way you are meant to be doing actions. But we have many strings attached. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Paatshah, they eat that food, they stay there for 3 days. When Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Paatshah is about to leave, Bhai Lalo Ji does a beinti again. Hey Sache Paatshah, don't leave, stay here. Guru Nanak Dev Ji stays looking at that love. Malik Pago, who was an employee of the government of that area, it was his son's wedding. He invites all of the sadhus. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Paatshah doesn't go. He doesn't go to eat at his place. He gets angry. People feed news to his ears that Guru Nanak Dev Ji is disobeying you. They go in to get Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, I'm not going. When they forcefully come to get Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Paatshah laughs and they go with them. When Malik Pago, they brought out puriyan, shole, shati prakar de bhojan. Somebody that's what we call a foodie would just drool over that. And they say, wow, I can't live resisting. Better keep in mind that controlling the tongue is the toughest organ. You can control your eyes, you can control your ears, you can control your hands and your feet maybe. You can't control your tongue. The hardest discipline to do for your body is to control your tongue. You have melting beautiful cheese with sauce and everything right in front of you. And you're saying, what's wrong with you? Who is making your food? Where is it coming from? And what money are you spending to buy that food? to fill your fridge. Where is that money coming from? What are you doing with that money? ये परमात्मा दे हुक्म अनुसार है कि नहीं हुक्म अनुसार? Guru Nanak Dev Ji says that your food is equivalent to blood. And the person whose food I've been eating, theirs is full of amrit. It's like dud, it's clean, it's white. Malik Pagu says, no, you are a Khatri. You've been eating at a low caste person's house. And you have this Mirasi with you who's a low caste. He's singing with you, he's a Muslim, he shouldn't even be with you. Look at the way, even these words he's saying, Ikaram is coming from a place of ignorance. Yes, we look at it and we say, of course that's ignorant. But in our lives, we do so many actions, thoughts, words that we say that are completely coming from a place of ignorance. Bhai Gurdas Ji describes what is the difference between a karma of a Braham Giaan and a Gyani. It is like somebody who takes a stick and they make a line through water. When the line goes through water, any karma that to do, even if it's anger or anything, the ripples affect the water for a small amount of time. But then eventually, the water levels out. There's no mark, there's no trace, because they're free from karma. They're free from it. But somebody who's living in ignorance, bound by karma, living in the cycle of whatever they plant, that's what they reap. That person is like taking a stick and drawing a line on a rock. It's there forever to stay. Malik Pago has deceived. He's been a tyrant. He's killed innocents. He's stolen. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, I'm not going to eat from you. Ye tera khana pavitra nahi, I'm not going to eat it. There's complete blood oozing out of your food. He's like, no, there's not blood. If you don't prove it, then I'm going to take you in for lying. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Pacha grabs both the rotiyan, grabs the old dry wheat bread, roti of Guru Nanak of Bhai Lalo, and they grab the beautiful, fully hui, oozing oil uri of Malik Bhag, and they squeeze both. And you know this, that blood comes out of one and dud comes out of the pavitra one. And he's like, look, this is proof. Tere karma da vich nira zahar hai. It's complete poison. Anything that you do, tera pala nahi ho sakta until you fix this guilt. I was with a great Gursikh in Canada, and we were staying at somebody's house. And while we were staying there, the person whose house it was, the mother kept on asking questions, saying that, why can't I moving forward in my spirituality? I keep getting these thoughts, the problems with my family. Every time I try to do something, something comes. Why can't I move forward? So the Guru said, we'll tell you in a second, we're just got to go. A few days later, we found out that in her basement, they have a butcher shop and they run a salon. Underneath in the basement and upstairs, they have Maras group trying, and one of the family members is constantly bringing sharab into the house. These karmas make a difference. You think it doesn't? When all of these things were removed from the household, that Mataji is in complete Kartika. Your actions, what you have done in the past and what you're doing right, you can't change what's in the past. You just accept that. But what you are doing now is going to dictate how that affects your spirituality. So that you can be free from karma. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Pacha, they do anything. Guru Har Gobind Maharaj Sache Pacha do anything. They're free from the cycle of karma. But to understand this, Vyarya, I have to take your attention into something else. I'm going to be talking about the 7 Bhumikama of Braham Giaan. This is why I need your dhyan. The 7 levels of Braham Giaan. This is something that's near and dear to me. This is something I've struggled to understand throughout my entire life. Even if I just explain a little bit from my jivan, that's a Mampurk. When I was younger, he would come up to me, he would hug me, and he would say, ਤੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਔਖਾ ਹੈ. Doing prachar is very difficult, and I was a little kid and I was saying, cool. So be it, it doesn't matter to me. I thought he was talking about himself. He's like, sab to aukha rasta hai, it's not simple. It's the hardest path you can take. And I was like, theek hai, hanji. He's like, veek la. I was like, hanji. He's like, veek la. I was like, theek hai. I'm just sitting on my couch. Anyways, he comes up and he grabs me, hugs me. But I remember that moment anytime I grab a mic, anytime I sit on a stage. You can accept, you can move towards Paramatma with a righteous action that you do and you take, and that is the path Paramatma will have for you. Or you can resist, you can do your opposite karmas within ignorance, and you'll never be able to fully find happiness without accepting that harm, without living in raza. Hukum razai chalana, nanak likhya na. Yedi khed bahut badi hai pyare. A lot of us, we think that will we ever have kirpa upon us? Guru Sahib sade te bhi kirpa karenge. These words are going into your ears, and we're speaking about Brahm Vidya, we're speaking about Gurban, we're speaking about Ityas. You are able to connect to Paramatma. You're doing sadhana sangati. You're sitting in satsangat right now. Then you are blessed. You have that karma. If you did not have the karma, you would not be here sitting here today. Somebody might have really wanted to be here. They did not have the karma, they're not here. You did not want to be here, guess what? You're here. That's because it was part of your karma. Malik Pagbo was not accepting Bhai Lalo, no matter whatever way, no matter whatever state that he's in. He's completely accepted, and that karma that he does, the way he earns, the way he serves, everything is pravan. Malik Pago, who was the governor, his son became sick. He had all the sadhus in that area arrested. His son became sick and he was about to die. They even arrested Guru Nanak Dev Ji. And when they asked, how can we get our son to be well? How can we save our son? He said, Tusi karmi hai je kite, you have to reverse your karma. Without changing that, you cannot escape. This one karma that you're doing, that is what's holding you down. In our life, I want you to search in your life now. What are you doing? What is an action that is hindering you from your own spiritual growth? It might be very subtle. But these things make a big difference. But somebody might say, oh, but what if my salary will drop? What if this will happen? What if that will happen? To begin even into the first kumaka of Braham Giaan, the first stage of Braham Giaan, you have to completely detach. We can do separate talks about detachment, of understanding, building love, prem. All of these things are to put to one side. All of that has to be attained to get to what we're about to talk about right now. But that's why I need your attention. I need your surti. Malik Pago, he said, how can I reverse this karma? Anything to save my son? Guru Nanak Dev Ji said that you have to feed your son the food of that low caste Bhai Lalo. They go and they grab that dry bread, the dry roti, from Bhai Lalo's house, they put it into the mouth of the son of Malik Pago, and he becomes great again. He becomes well over time. That is the power. This is why when we make deg, that's why Japji Sahib is read. When you make a bhatta of amrit, it's not just water. You can just say it's water and pata say you put it into an iron bowl, you're good to go. Nahi pyare ho. There are 5 Sampuran Jeevan wale Gursikhs that are with their eyes, they're looking into that jal. That is a transfer of Shakti. With their hands, they're holding onto that bhatta. With that sarablo, they're fading the khanda. And from their tongues, they're reciting Gurbani inside of Guru Sahib's Hajuri. And it's not just random 5 people. Many have said and I've experienced this myself when we do Seva and the Panj Pyare, that you could honestly never feel Akal Purukh's or Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Paatshah's feeling inside of you. But when you do Ardas with full Bhavana, कि सच्चे पातशाह, we have no idea how we're going to do this Amrit Sanchar, Bhai Daya Singh Ji andar baso. Guru Gobind Singh Ji, you gave the hukam that you were going to reside within us and do the seva from Amrit Sanchar Spirit until the end of time. Sacche Paatshah, reside within us and do this seva. And that truly happens. You do that seva, that uttam seva, you can experience Guru Gobind Singh Ji inside of you doing that seva. One of my close sisters, she was taking Amrit at that time in one of these Amrit Sanchars. She says that when I knew you were going to be in one of the Panj Pyare and the other Guru Sikhs I know, but when I went there, I didn't recognize any of you guys. You weren't there. There were similarities, but no, it wasn't you, it was somebody else. I thought there was a mistake. There's a different set of Panj Pyare. One of my close friends, he told me as well, he was doing Seva on the Panj. He said, I got pulled into doing the Seva by one of the elder Guru Sikhs. I thought, how am I going to do this action? I've never done Seva in Panj Pyare or in Amrit Sanchar before, never in my life. But when they did Ardas, when the Amrit Sanchar began, he said, it felt like I sat on my seat, and literally my hands were moving, and somebody was taking the Amrit from the Bata and putting into the mouth of the Prani. I was watching my hands move. It felt like I was sat on a seat and somebody controlled my body and they did the entire seva. I had never known how to even do a tula and put it into somebody's gaze. I never learned it, nobody taught me. But in that moment, my hands were doing it. Pyare Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Paatshah, they worked through this. And all of these are karmas as well. But that karma is not in your control. That is something that's beyond ignorance. You can reach a state in your life where you're in constant bliss. Yet you sit back and you watch everything and you're beyond karma. You're in constant state of ananda. Bhai Lalu, Bhai Mardana, Bhai Balaji, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Paatshah, any action that they're doing, Baba Deep Singh Ji, they are free from ignorance. But to reach that, to understand that, live in an honest meaning, do abhyas, follow the Guru's hukam, do sadh sangat, spend as much time as you can. And maybe when that pyas, that deep desire inside of your heart arises, where you're able to realize that, you know what, the world is all false, maybe it comes from a place of pain, where somebody backstabs you, a family member has died, and you feel detached from the entire world. Capitalize on that moment and focus your prayer on Guru Sahib, something that is true and constant. Maybe something has happened in your life, that's why you're sitting here today. Maybe you felt some sort of pain, and that's why you said, you know what, let me go to Guru Sahib Sharan. Let me go into this Sangat, and I've heard something, Sikhi is something. Let me just go learn about the simplicity or the basics of it. That's very important. But I don't need to tell you that. That's why you took up your time to be here. But there's more to it. We're still holding on to so many things. What we need to do is look into our life and throw out one thing at a time. One thing at a time, diagnose one thing and throw it out. Nek ned bantran kehed. Tvasar naam katha kabam. Parnam. Karunam Barnat Samat. Look at, in your life, look at the leaf and you say, no, this is the form of Paramatma. The leaf is just an illusion, move it out of the way. Look at the ground, look at your legs, look at your hands, look at every thought inside of your mind and move it out of the way. Look at every action that you're doing. When this pyas arises inside of you, and we read this in Gurbani, Hamri Bedan Har Prab Jana Mere Man Antar Ki Peer. We read in Gurbani, Rom Rom Man Tan Ek Bedan. We read in Gurbani, Aas Pyasi Mehfro Kab Pe Khungo Par. We have to feel that Gurmantar, that shabad in each and every cell of our body. When our hair stands up, this is called Shubh Ichha. This is the very first stage of Braham Giaan. But that in that first stage, this is absolute love. When love is taken over your body, when your hair stands up, when each and every breath of yours, you're reciting Vaheguru, 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 detachment from the world. When every intention of yours, that's what it literally means, Shubh Ichha. Shubh Ichha means the right and the true intent towards any action. You're doing tabligh, of course that falls into it. You're coming into sangat, that falls into it. But as you're doing this, you experience and you may go into the second stage. It's called Suvicharana. This is when you're in complete anand and bliss, and some of you may have experienced this. You may think about this. In some point of your spiritual history, spiritual journey, you will ask yourself these questions. Who am I? What is this world? Why are we here? How am I going to meet you? Why are we here? Why is the creation? And if this world is like this, then what is the point of it? These questions of existence, they come inside of your life. Now you begin to detach from the world. You don't see somebody else will say, hey bro, let's go do something fun. And you'll say, very rare, even reaching the first stage is very rare you'll find somebody to have a conversation. If you're talking about Pagdata, Sansari, and Jod Kadin Aya, where the worldly people and the sadhus don't align, you're still talking about the first stage. Even if we're able to grab onto a little bit of understanding this stage, this is not a sequence. This is not a set of rules. This is not a way. Whatever way you do abhyas, whatever way you do bhajan, you do bandagi, you do sadhana, you do sangat, this is something universal to all faiths, all beings, because this is you and your Atma, your true form. You will encounter this. Every Sufi, every Fakir, every Sadhu, every Gursik, they've experienced this, and you've maybe experienced this as well. Yogis would sit in front of the tree and they would ask, tree? Who am I? Who am I? Sit there for days and days. They come back, they ask the other sadhus, and they say, did you figure out who you are yet? They said, no, we didn't figure it out. They said, let's go ask the rocks. So they go sit in front of the rock and they do bhakti and they say, who am I? Even the trees and the rocks, always they're always praising Paramatma as well. We don't have the buddhi, all of our karmas, and the way we see everything is completely in ignorance. The fourth stage is what we call complete Brahman. After the fourth stage, there's no coming back. This is where that pyar, that strength, that realization has come so strong, you cannot fall back from it. From the first three stages that are there, you have the ability to fall back into Maya. You can be experiencing Paramatma's love. Your hair is standing up. You're experiencing Nam. You're hearing Tuni. You're hearing all of this. You're experiencing it. You're crying. You can't sleep. You can't eat. You still have the ability to fall back from that. At any moment you experience something, even here sometimes you hear funny things. There's one Mataji, they came up to Gyaniji once. And they said, Gyaniji, tell us what the 10th door is like. What is the 10th Dasan Dwar like? And they're like, what do you mean? They're like, we started doing a lot of Simran now. So we're scared that we might actually walk past the 10th one and go to the 11th or 12th. Like we need to stop at the 10th. And we're like, what? It doesn't work that way. When you reach that avastha, that stage, it's not that, have I realized Paramatma or not? If that's the question, it means you haven't. You're still in doubt. There's still confusion. They're still dying. But after the stage of realization, there's no going back. When you do Simran Abhyas, when you walk on this path of spirituality, walking blind is not a good idea either. Because when you walk blind, you encounter more obstacles than you would have. You could have seen that obstacle coming. You still have to walk it. You could have seen that obstacle coming and you could have said, no, you know what, move it to the side, I'll walk past that. You know it's coming. But if you don't know it's coming, you could be sitting there, you see a light and you're like, oh, I think I found God. And then you do man over that. Now you're not doing abhyas anymore because you think you found it all. This is what the yogis and the sadhus did. But Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, you're not connecting to Param Tat, you're connecting to Jeev Tat. You're just taking your surti into a place within yourself and you're experiencing yourself, your own being, and you feel a little bit of anand. You have not connected to Param Tat. You know the philosophy of Param Tat, of Paramatma. You believe in it. You have not experienced it. You don't even know what you're doing. Let me teach you how to grow from your own stage of being. You can hear sounds. You can experience nirvana. You can do all of these things inside of Jeev Tat. And the yogis, Gorakhnath, all of them were experiencing it. But they had not reached Param Tat. Siddh Gosht, this Bani is a compilation of these conversations between Guru Nanak Dev Ji and the sadhus. They're not to be taken lightly. Even if you read the translations, you read the Gurbani, pinna nahi samjh lagni. That is Guru Nanak Dev Ji giving you spiritual guidance. So pyareo meri benti eh hai, don't ever fall under this illusion that you're connecting more to spirituality now, Guru Di Lord. That you don't need Guru Sahib anymore. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Lord. Without that guidance, without Guru Sahib taking you, nothing is possible. Even the greatest saints, they had experienced a lot. They fill up Maharaj Sharan, they say we still need the avatar form, Satguru, Sri Guru, to help us, guide us all through that. But we're talking about something just about you right now. When we talk about Tanu Manasa, this is when your mind becomes very, very subtle. When you've asked yourself these questions, Ki main kaun hai? Kidda aaya? You go into the barikiyan. Your surti becomes very subtle. You'll begin to be able to feel the emotions of others. You'll begin to go into the depths of your mind and search within yourself. Deep within yourself about your true form. You'll be able to step back and watch your thoughts coming and going. You are already detached from your body and your mind at this stage because you've understood what your true form is. Who am I? What am I? What are the layers? How am I trying to connect? Sometimes you need guidance with sadhus. You need sangat. You ask questions. You do abhyas. All this understanding can be seen. Your mind becomes so subtle. And your mind will never ever at this stage go after vices. Krodh, Kam, Lobh, these don't even come. You've won over the 5 now. You've grabbed them by the leash and you run them like dogs now. They don't control you. First is Panch Bekhadi Ek Gariba Rakho Rakhan Hare. They're chasing you. You're troubled by them. But now, you've won over them. You control them entirely. You see them for what it is. You can go into the subtleties and you can recognize. That leads you to the 4th stage, which is Sattva Tat. The 4th stage is what we call realization. Jab hum hote, tab tu nahi, ab tu hi main nahi. Tohi mohi, mohi tohi antar kaisa. There's no difference between you and I. Tat Naranjan Jot Sabai, so hung ped na koi jiyo. So meaning you, hung meaning me, tere mere vich koi ped nahi hai. At the 3rd stage, you'll be able to see yourself working through creation. Cars moving by, it's not that you're a separate person, I'm a separate person. At the 3rd stage, you're not a separate person, I'm not a separate person. You've reached the heights of Kanhaiya Ji. You've seen that ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਂ ਹੀ ਵਰਤਦਾ ਹਾਂ. ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ there's nobody else, it's just me working through them. But in the 4th stage, You've completely seen it. You've recognized it, and there's no going back from it. It's pakka. There's no way you can fall after completely seeing that what the form of this world is completely true. Madhve kya kahiye pram aisa jaisa mani hai hoye na taisa. You'll be speaking like Guru Tegh Bahadur Maharaj, like Bhagat Ravidas Ji does. These are words that they are saying. All of these words are said after they reach this state. That's why they speak about it. When we sing Gurbani, we are asking Sache Pacha, bless me, I'm drowning. Lift me up. And even at this stage when there's complete realization, that love doesn't go away. That love, it grows even more. True love is what takes you to Braham Giaan. It's enlightenment. But then after enlightenment, then you realize that the love that I had before, it was selfish. After reaching enlightenment, that's where true Prema Bhakti begins. True love, because there's no you left anymore. There's no me left anymore. Sattva Pat. And then the fifth stage, which is Asansaigat, where there is absolutely no ankar anymore of even your bodily functions. In the fourth stage, it's still, you realize everything's Paramatma. Yet you're moving your hands still, it's still your karma. You were doing the kirat. In the fifth stage, you step back from your mind and body and you sit into your true form, your Chaitanta, which is omnipresent Paramatma. And you sit and you watch. Just like I was describing how my friend felt when his hands are just moving and he's working the Amrit Center. Guru Sahib is working through them. But this becomes your state of mind always. Right now it's your ankar, I lift my hand. Okay, I'm putting my hand down. But then eventually you sit, you watch, you still see your hand, but it's not you moving anymore. Asan jor nahi je khich kar hum sa ke jyon paave te main bakhsh. Asan jor nahi. Asan jor nahi. This is what the state of these sadhus, these bhagats are. That Sache Pacha, I've realized, jo bhi tum karda na, eh tu hi karda. But if we're not at that stage, we haven't even had pyar for Paramatma, we're struggling within our own ignorance, and we're saying, well, how does free will work and destiny? And then say, how do will if God is everything, then why is there negativity in the world? Is why we the one that is destroying and doing all these bad things? Better we see it as bad things. But in that moment, in that stage, there's nothing negative left anymore. Paramatma is the one that's feeding. Paramatma is the one that's eating. Paramatma is the food. Paramatma is the chewer. Paramatma is the digester. Paramatma is the one that's coming out the other end. Everything in that form, in that cycle, Paramatma is the one that's killing. Paramatma that is being killed. Paramatma is the one that's saving the person from being killed. Paramatma is the one that's giving life and then taking away life as well. Avran jana hukum tasah ka hukum hai bujh samavenge. Bahod hum kahe aavenge. When you realize that, then why would you come back into this world? You're free from all of it. You're free from karma. You sit in that Chaitanta, you can literally watch your body deteriorate, and you sit in complete ananda and view your life. And then there's the sixth stage. So the sixth stage is Padartha Pavana. This is the stage where even from here to Brahmalok, Shivpuri, Bishanpuri, Sachkhand, Jithe Takvi, wherever you see, wherever you, to the ends of the limits of the universe, as far as possible, you do not even experience and see objects anymore. Meaning, first in the sixth stage, you're watching your hand, but it's not you moving it. But now here, you can't even see your hand anymore. Yet, you're still physically in your body. Keep this in mind. You're physically in your body still. Sant Bhai Harman Singh, they used to have to tie something around their waist. If you read into Mahaprabhu's Jivan, now it makes sense. Because they would have no feel for hunger or bhuk. They wouldn't even know if they're full anymore. They would feed them. And then when the string would get tight, then they know they're full now. But when the string is loose, they would be, okay, now it's time to eat. I'm not saying that you're going to experience this tomorrow. If Guru Sahib can bless you, then yes, everything is possible. But you're existing and you're in trouble. Braham Giaan sad jeev hai, nahi marta. They're already, by the fourth stage, they're merging to Paramatma. They're rid of karma. They've reached Paramatma's experience. They become one with Paramatma already. There's no going back from this now. But this is completely becoming one with it. But from here, you're like a fish. Jai jai dekho tehte tu hai. Wherever I look, I don't even see anything else anymore. Purana tu hi hai. Tu hi hai. What do you mean something else? Nahi, nahi, nahi. Tu hi hai. First is jealous tu hi, thalas tu hi. Within the ground, within the water, within the tree, there is you, but there's still you within the tree. But now there's not even a tree anymore. Jai jai dekho tehte tu hai. Tere to bina to aur koi cheez hi nahi hai. There's nothing else after this. Solar planets, suns, moons, experiences, sounds, words, nothing. But your mind is separate from you, so your mind still be moving and talking. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Paatshah says that just like a wave comes out of water and emerges back into water, from the outside it seems like it's different, but really there's no difference. Jalte uth tarang jiyo, jal hi bikhe samaye. Har jandui ek hai. Bib vichar kachna hai. There's no antara between them. Your surti, your consciousness is sarva vyapak. Within every being, because look, there's no different beings anymore. You don't see it, you don't experience it. So your surti is sarva vyapak as well. You become the form of truth, you become the form of bliss, and you're completely aware. At this stage, Mahapurukhs say that there's only a few months left of your physical body. You cannot exist more than that. And then you go into the seventh stage. This is what we call Turiya. Turiya is not just, okay, you experience something that's called Son. Okay, you don't feel your body anymore. Did I go into Turiya Avastha? No, you didn't. Oh, maybe it's that time where, I heard a sound. Oh, no, that's not it either. Maybe it's when I saw that light, or maybe when I walked past the 10th ward and walked to the 14th ward. That's not Turiya either. All of creation of Maya is within three elements, three creations, which you can classify as Rajo Tamo Sato, which you can classify as very positive, neutral, and negative, to simplify it. There's positive thought, just like by Laloji is making the food, and the words that he's reading, his jivan, the gift that he's earning, it's all positive. There's no negativity about it. If he becomes and begins it from that point, only then can he experience it later. And then Malak Pago, he's tamoguni to begin with. He's negative to begin with. He's deceiving, he's cheating, he's lying for his own benefit. To grow his thing, he's imprisoning sadhus. He's giving the takalif to saints. Santaka nindak maha hatiyara, Guru Sahib says. You give pain to sadhus and saints, to those that are holy, you're the worst culprit in the world. Turiya is that when there's no more birth and death, not even of thoughts, no furne anymore. There's no thoughts that come, it's just awareness, just bliss. In the previous stages, you can sit back and thoughts can come and go and you're watching them and everything is positive. From the thoughts of love. But in Turiya, you are love. You are that experience. Anything that you experience in life, it's like you see the sun, you feel the sun's rays on your face. Or you go and you merge and you become part of the sun. Just like a moth goes and just rushes into the fire and it becomes the form of the fire. Just like a bird flies trying to find food, but then eventually gets captivated in just like it gets captivated inside of the hunter's trap. It can't get out anymore. Just like a bumblebee goes, sits in the lotus flower, and eventually when the lotus flower closes its petals and it's imbued in that nectar, becomes one with it. Taise Gurbani avagahan karat chit. Kabahu magan hai, shabd urjaye hain. The sound, the shabad, you completely get drenched in it. Eh bani jo jio jana, this antar rav hai har nama. Inside out, it's permeating Paramatma's naam. Jeta kita teta, now varnave, nahi kotha. There's nothing in this world other than Paramatma's naam. There's no birth of thoughts, no coming and going. Everything is beyond duality. You at that form are completely beyond anything physical. You've gone, when Akal Purkh has come from formless to form, and then through ignorance created your being. But now, you've reversed all of that separation through the pains of the love, through the ups and downs, and you experience that. And you merge back into complete nirvana. For you, the world is not anymore. Complete awareness and bliss. But Paramatma is Chetan. The world can be destroyed, everything physical. But this is why Maharaj says, Naam Rahyo, Sadhu Rahyo. How do the sadhus remain? If everything in the world is going to be destroyed, everything is going to die, you can say a sadhu dies. What do you mean? But then if you're saying Vaheguru is just one, and you're saying that there's different sadhus, they still talk to each other. Still duality. Par nahi. Naam Rahyo, Sadhu Rahyo, Rahyo Gur Gobind. These three things, Naam is always going to remain. That is Paramatma. It's Nirgun. It's always there. Naam never gets destroyed. It is Paramatma. Sadhus become the form of Paramatma. They become that form of omnipresent Naam. Rahyo Gur Gobind, and that creative Paramatma, that Chaitanya, that Shakti, that has always been there to begin with. This is what we need to do with every action that we walk, every step that we take. This is the goal that we want. We discussed it, we talked about it. You have some sort of idea, but you need to walk it. You need to do that bhakti. The reason, I don't expect you guys to basically take this all in and just be like, okay, you know what, I got it right away. No. Work towards the first step. These things will come and you'll experience bits of it. Par pyareo, ek gal chette rakhiyo. Kade bhi, kite bhi, ankar na kar baithiyo. That if I've done this bhakti, you experience a little bit. Te ek karam karke hun main jo marji kar sakta hu. Don't fall under that illusion. Guru hamesha sar de upar hai. Guru will always remain the greatest sadhus, the greatest saints, experiencing everything. They fall at the feet. Pyare, when we look at Turiya Avastha, in this stage, there's only a few days left in the physical body, because sadhus say even your elements of your five elemental body, they begin to merge with each other. That's why when we look at Mahaprabhu's jivans, sadhus' jivans, that's why when we look into their last stages of their physical body, they don't move, they just sit there, right? They just lay down. Bhai Jivan Singh Ji, Sant Baba Mani Singh Ji, Sant Baba Harnam Singh Ji, Sant Baba Anand Singh Ji. You can name on and on and on. Pichle dina vich bas. Anand. What I want you to take out of just this today is look at what my end goal is. Assess where you're standing today and fall in love with your Guru. Take that one step that you need now, because that one step will turn into thousands. And Guru Sahib Sache Pacha says, you take one step, Charan Sharan Gur Ek Penda Jai Chal. Satpur Koot Penda This is the power of your Guru. You take one step. Don't think you're walking alone. Jiske sir upar tu Swami, so dukh kaisa paave. You'll never experience that pain, because Guru Sahib will be standing on top of your head, and Mara will come thousands of miles running towards you to embrace you. Gal sari prayandi hai. Pare main jadon main pare ho gaya, there's nothing but bliss and anand left. Tan karke pyareo, inniya vichara karde hain, while talking, while speaking. Even in my entire life, if I've made any sort of mistakes right in front of me, is not Gursikhs of the UK or Scotland or somewhere. नहीं, मेरे सामने ना Guru Nanak Dev Ji बैठा है. And keep this in mind, if I'm standing here and I'm doing this action today, मैं किरत कर रहा हूँ. If I'm doing this job, this is not my job. And if I do go into ignorance and I do say something that I shouldn't say, I have that fear inside of my heart. If I'm speaking about Bhai Harman Singh Ji, I have to stand in Dargah one day. Bhai Harman Singh Ji will be standing in front of me and they'll say, Harman Singh, you were meant to say my ityas, you missed it all. I don't want to be that person. Guru Nanak Dev Ji will be standing in front of me and Guru Nanak Dev Ji will say, tu ki karke aa gaya. That's why हमेशा डर अंदर रहना, उपदेश देना बहुत औखा है. It's so difficult, I can't put it into words. ਤਾਂ ਕਰਕੇ मैं गुरु नानक देव जी ਦੇ ਰੂਪ ਦੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਹੱਥ ਜੋੜ ਕੇ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰਦਾ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮਾਫ ਕਰ ਦਿਓ. ਸਾਰੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਦਾ ਜਵਾਬ ਜੀ ਉੱਤੇ ਬੁਲਾਓ. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Please donate and help spread Guruji's message. Link is in the description below. Vaheguru ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru ji ki Fateh.
Vaheguru